So it's Day Dog coming back to you with another banger, another 2K20 video. We're gonna make a jump shot slash few little dribble moves that people overlook video. So for all y'all that are new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're coming back, don't forget to hit the notifications bell to be alerted to my content, which I bring out pretty much daily. So without further ado, let's start off. Oh yeah, before we actually get to the shots, I just want to say something about last year in 2K19. In 2K19, which I'm pretty sure 2K20 is going to be the same system. The system is going to work the same, like the contest and shot system, basically. In 2K19, 2K Labs had confirmed that your jump shot, basically, the speed of your jump shot was related to your base and the slider, like the speed slider, not the release. Therefore, your base affected how fast your jump shot was going to be, and the slider, the speed slider, but not the release. The release did not affect the speed. But what the release did affect, and this is not confirmed by 2K Labs, but me and my buddies, we tried a bunch of different jump shots and tried to contest them approximately the same way and see what would appear, like lightly contested, heavy contested, smothered, blah blah blah. And what we noticed is, for instance, jump shots. A very good example is jump shots like Steph Curry and Lonzo Ball. Now, if you see Steph Curry's jump shot right here, he releases it, like he brings it up to in front of his forehead, just a little bit above his forehead, and it releases just like almost right in front of his face, in front of his forehead. And don't get me wrong, Steph Curry makes a lot of shots, and I'm pretty sure when he's open, like, well, we know when he's open, his shots, they go in pretty well. But the thing is if he's contested, if my hand is in front of his face and I'm a little bit taller, it's going to be easy for me to block that shot. And 2K seems to, the contest system seems to calculate it the same way. If your hand is close to the ball, you're going to contest it more. So therefore, if you want a jump shot that's going to be harder to contest, you have to make sure that the ball is as far away from the hand that is contesting it, basically. And basically, as I was saying, Steph Curry's shot, it's in front of his forehead, to the just over his forehead, and he releases it just barely above his head. Now, if we check Lonzo Ball, here's an even worse one. He almost touches his forehead as he brings it up, and just pushes it forward slightly and releases. Very easy to block in real life. That would be very easy to block in real life. And if he was taller than you, and in contesting range, he just sticks his hand up. There's a good chance he might right there, and for sure he's going to be contesting it. Now, say for instance, one last time look at Steph Curry's. You see the height of his release. Now I'm gonna check out Ray Allen, for instance. Ray Allen, similar shot, but his release is higher. You see, one of the best shooters of all time, and his release is a lot higher than Curry's. A similar release, still in front of his forehead, but higher, still higher. Now, if we check Larry Bird, for instance, now this is where these shots start being hard to contest. He brings it a lot further back, almost to like over his head, over the top of his head, and releases above and over his head. A lot harder to contest. In real life, that would be a lot harder to contest. And in the game, it is actually harder to contest. We tried out a lot of shots with Larry Bird and Dirk Nowitzki and others. Dirk Nowitzki has a very, where is he? Dirk, there he is. Dirk has a very, brings it up high and almost like above his head, over his head again. Now, the jump shots I started testing later were based on that theory. Based on the further back you bring it behind your head and the higher the release, the harder it's going to be to contest. Obviously, jumping higher is going to help. Jumping higher. So the three elements being bringing the ball further back behind your head, releasing a lot higher, and jumping higher. Those are the three elements that will make your jump shot harder to contest. And out of all the jump shots that I've checked, 54 seems to have the best in all those three elements, and plus the actual speed of the jump shot. Like a slow jump shot isn't going to help, but so four elements if you include how fast the jump shot is. Now this jump shot is one of my favorites. I would suggest it for guards in particular, for instance, because it has a pretty high jump height. The ball, he almost brings it once again over his head and releases high. Now, that, like I said, more for guards because, like, you actually get some height off the jump. If you're taller, you don't need to get height. You just need more of a quick release, in my opinion. So this is, like, the best one for, because it's still a very quick shot, and he gets a lot, I said, releases it above his head and high up, like a high over his head and high release. This is probably my favorite jump shot. He doesn't jump quite as high, but the release is so fast. It's such a fast shot. Even without quick draw, it's already pretty quick. With quick draw, it's really fast. And he brings it way behind his head. He brings the ball, like, literally behind his head and releases it just, like, it barely even goes over his head. He releases it. It's almost still behind his head. And it's still a very nice jump shot. It's easy to time. As soon as the hands dip, 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 dip. That's when you release. When you see the hands dip, that's when you release. Right at that point, very easy to time. It's a really sweet jump shot. And I would suggest it more for a taller player, like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", to 6'10" and above kind of thing. Small forwards, actually, I have a better one. This is more even like 6'10" and taller because, like I said, he doesn't jump very high. But that being said, I still use it even with my guard because I don't shoot contested very often. I try to shoot open as much as possible, and I'm only trying to shoot open. And if you're open, well then, honestly, the jump height doesn't affect as much. You don't need to jump as high as much. You just need a fast release. So I use this even with my favorite jump shot. Is the one I use the most. Very easy to time, very quick shot. But once again, if you're not the kind of person that will only take the jump shots when open, then you might want to think about other jump shots, like 54 being the best one, I think, for shorter players or people that don't always shoot open. And then an in between, like say for instance, small forward height. This would be at 72. He brings the ball very far back behind his head once again, high release, and he still gets a lot of height off of that jump, but it's a little bit faster than 54. Less jump height than 54, but faster jump, faster. So I would suggest this more for the small forward, between like 6'6" to 6'10". That's about the range. And then 76 for 6'10" and above. Unless, like I said, unless you're shooting open all the time. If you're shooting open all the time, this is my favorite jumper. Now, if you don't like the release where they bring it like behind their head and you prefer like a straight up forward jump shot where he just brings it straight up and it releases straight up, this is the alternative that I would suggest. This is probably the alternative shot. Gets a pretty high jump, still brings the ball very high up, and releases very high. I think it's better than Ray Allen and Steph Curry, for instance, but yet a very similar shot. So that is my suggestion for those that don't like the release where he brings it behind his head or above and behind his head. Like I don't know, for some people, I guess maybe when they're sideways, like they're corner shooters, they prefer seeing the jump shot just go straight up and time it with the peak of the jump shot instead of the peak of the arm arc. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but because I rely on the arc of a hand dips backwards when the arms start tilting backwards, when the arc backwards, when it reaches the peak of the arc backwards, that's when I release. Whereas some people kind of rely more on the height of the jump shot. When as he goes up, they'll try to release at the peak of the jump shot, and this one is more one of those. Whereas I can still time this one because I still rely on the hands. When the hands dip, that's when I release. When the hands dip, dip, yeah, that's when I release. So to me, it's a similar jump shot. I can time it just as well, but it's more of a peak of the jump instead of peak of the arm motion. So for jump shots, that would be the jump shots. Those are the four jumps, the three main jump shots I would suggest, and then 70 being an alternative. So like I said, 76, 72, and 54. 54 for guards, 72 for more like small forwards, and then 76 for power forwards and centers. And then on to some little dribble moves. Hold on, where is it? Hop jumpers, yes. Some of the moves that people overlook, I think, or just there's so many that maybe they didn't notice them. But yours are basically when you're running with turbo in any direction and you're holding turbo, like R2 or right trigger, whatever you want to call it, and you're running in a certain direction, as long as you're not in the paint, you on the right stick, and he'll do a hop jump shot. Now it's hop jumpers, that's what they're called, yep. But I think the best one, and you can see it right there, how to seek the James Harden one. Now, if you guys are not using this, if you're a guy that's a shot creator and you like to use difficult shots and stuff, this should be your main weapons. This move right here, it should be in your arsenal, and you should be using it. And it is, in my opinion, the best hop jumper. The only problem is, like you just saw right there, he stepped backcourt. He actually stepped backcourt. So it creates so much space that you actually, if you're using it, for instance, too close to the top of the key, he might actually go all the way and backcourt it. And if you're using it in the corners, he's probably going to jump right out of bounds. So you got to be careful how you use it. Use it too close to any line that you don't want to step behind or past. But other than that, it's amazing. Anytime you're past the perimeter, say for instance, the moment you step inside the perimeter is a good time. As you're driving into the perimeter, you hold down on your right stick as you're holding turbo, and boom, get that little step right behind the line and get that little 3-point shot. So it's a great little move. If you're, like I said, if you're a shot and you're using step back jumpers and stuff, then this should be your main weapon. Then other than that, one last thing I wanted to show people was something that I think a lot of people overlook, and it's the triple threat moves. Now a lot of them, whatever, there's some of that are like number 5. I like number 5. It's pretty good, but the main one I want people to see is number 2. Now number 2. Now first of all, a lot of people don't know, but this isn't the animation. This isn't all of it. You actually have to let it go, and I'm going to let it play through so you can actually see. It takes a little bit, but sooner or later, the rest of the animations kick in, so you actually have to let it play for 10, 12, 15 seconds or so before the other animations kick in. They should kick in any second here. There we go. Boom, jab steps. And other little moves, little deeks and pump fakes and stuff, and the one I want to show you is the step back. Right there. Did you see from the foul line to 2-3 feet behind the perimeter? That is insane. That step back is the fastest step back that covers that much ground. Actually, there is no other step back that covers that much ground. And I want to wait again so you guys can see it one more time. And you can see just how fast and how much ground, how much space you create, basically. This move, I think everybody should use it. Everybody should be using normal 2. Absolutely everybody. Unless you're too slow and you don't want to create that space, you want to swim. But otherwise, this right here. Boom, look at that. Did you see that? That was insane. So yeah, that is the one move out of the triple threat. And to do that move, basically, when you're in triple threat, you hold turbo and you just press down on the right stick. That's all you got to do, and it will do that little step back. So those are the moves I wanted to show, and my jump shots, my favorite. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to be alerted to all my content that I'm going to be bringing out on a daily. And yeah, come on, show me some love, because as I was saying, I'm really trying to hit that 50 subscribers, and I appreciate every single subscriber I get, and I'm hoping to get a bunch more. So yeah, show me some love if you enjoyed. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.